Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Devil's Advocate Trades Edition. On my segment of Hard Hats, Hard Truth. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Lisa. How are you today?
I'm good. Well, kind of. I just said I'd set a timer, and then my timer.
That's user error.
Just stupid, I tell you. So now we're going to hear something in the background. So that's what's happening today.
We'll try to keep it to 25 minutes. We'll see whether or not we can get it there. I don't know.
There we go. Okay, it's going.
It's going. Locked and loaded.
We need a timer.
We'll add an extra 5 minutes for waiting for you to set the timer.
Wow. You know what? Be nice. Be nice.
Good morning.
Good morning. Is it a good morning?
It's morning. Let's just say morning. Morning.
Okay. Morning.
Morning.
Okay, so we've pretty much covered, like, when we go back and we look at all of the comments inside of the TikTok, they all kind of cover the same thing that we've kind of already talked about. So just workplace safety and sexual harassment and how guys feel about it and why they come into the comments, and like we've talked about a lot of different things. So I think you and I we're gonna take a turn. Sorry. We're gonna take a turn and we are going to talk about compensations, which is funny because it, like, when you brought it up to me, I'm like, I just fucking talked about this. It's almost like, are you listening to my podcast, Michael? Are you
No.
reading the transcripts before you come on?
No, I don't. I should, but I don't. I don't have time. I don't have time.
And I know you don't, but it's just kind of freakish for me because I'm like, I
Right.
just fucking talked about this yesterday. I talked about the entrepreneurial aspects because you and I are both entrepreneurs. I talked about that there's two different types of entrepreneurs. There's just the visionaries, and then there's the entrepreneurs that are all about understanding business and working the business. But then there's the visionaries who are the ideas guy, and their ideas are amazing, but they don't know how to run the business. They can put their idea
I'd say
forward.
there's a third. I'd say there's a third,
Okay,
which
what's your
is
third?
splitting the entrepreneur into business
Okay.
business ownership and entrepreneurial. Because entrepreneurs are very different than business owners. Business owners are usually stuck in their business, not on their business.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point because it's very true. You and I are kind of stuck in our business. But we're also one of ones, so the company doesn't move without us,
Right. And
right?
I
So
love
it's
it
like,
that
you
way.
wanna buy my name, like, fuck, fill your boots, but you're not gonna get, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't think I'll ever come out of being a one of one. I don't know, like, a lot of people are like, "Oh,
No.
Lisa, you're, like, the only one in your niche, like, you should have, like, companies everywhere, and you could capitalize and make hundreds of millions of dollars," and I'm like, but that's if I want to." Because I did talk about in the entrepreneurial world that there is different types of entrepreneurs, some that have more of a philanthropist type of attitude, which you and I mirror. We're happy to give things at prices that make sense to us, where we're not really losing anything, but we're not cheap, but we're not, like, ridiculously priced.
Just enough to value my time. So it's not, people aren't just chewing up time for no reason. And honestly, if they really, really need something, I'll probably do it for free anyway.
I
But
know, I do the same thing, but
I
this
know.
is where it gets, we get into these positions where then people expect, they put the expectation out there that we're gonna do shit for free. And I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
You know, I'm
And
looking at,
I
go ahead.
say no. We go, no. Okay, sure. I'll help you.
Right? But
Yeah.
I think the problem is that you and I are like, we kind of feed off of problem solving. You have a problem, you have a pain point, we'll fix it. You know? And so what happens is sometimes we give away the service because we get so into our creative juices of what this problem is and how we would solve it, that we just kind of like, bleh, is what we do. And they're like, "Oh," and you're like, "Oh shit, should charge for that."
Well, I think that's something that happens a lot in construction, right? So we've talked about scope creep a lot. We've talked about a lot of those, like just additions, add-ons, change orders, all that type of stuff. And people are just like, to get that next paycheck, people will just be like, okay, I'll just do it because then I'll get my draw and I can pay my people and stuff like that. So especially if they're stuck in a scenario where cash flow is king, rather than just thinking in revenue and profit and loss.
But I think also when we're doing, so, like, you and I are really big on trade. Like, you and I, if we can do a trade somewhere with somebody and it's of equal value, we have no problem doing it. And we're like, "Yeah, you know what? Like, I can go without X amount of dollars and trade you for the same amount of time if you're gonna do the same amount of thing." But what happens is that both people have to be respectful of the trade itself.
Right.
So you always get, I find with me is that they don't understand what it takes, like, to have the knowledge as a construction consultant, to have the background in psychology, the background in HR, safety, have all the designations, and then to pick my brain, pick my brain, pick my brain. I'm like, that is part of the trade. Like, you have to understand, like, if you want to get all of the information that you're obtaining from me through all of my years of education and experience, and then think that that's not part of the trade, you're sadly mistaken. Then go hire someone,
Well,
or here's my bill.
that's the 3 sections of commerce, right?
Yeah,
Time, knowledge, and money.
that's
Which
right.
one are you paying with? You can pay with your time, you can pay with your knowledge, or you can pay with money.
Exactly.
Usually whatever 2 you put into something, you get the 3rd. So,
Yeah. Well, that's it, right? So there's that aspect, and then we talk. So that's where we were going to roll into the compensation aspect, especially for the differences between union inside of trades and private, because there is a big difference. And then I've heard pros and cons on the union side as well, where they're like, if you're union, you have to be a certain level, and then they only pay you for this, and then, like, there is some disadvantages of being union, and then
yes.
there's some that aren't. One of the big disadvantages that I hear of being union is that once you're union, you can never get out. Like, you can't just go out on your own, you're now union, that's it. Like, so if you're someone who's been a plumber, you're part of the union. There's something I heard, I don't know if it's true. Um,
I
and
wouldn't
then they
think
wanted
so.
to branch out and go on their own, they still fell under the union. So I was
I
like,
would
"So you can't charge your prices? We can only charge the prices that were, stipulated by the union." And I was
That'd
like,
be
"Oh,
interesting. That's interesting to look up. I would hope that's not true,
I would
right?
hope
Because
that's
I
not
think
true
that
either."
because that's a definite overstep. Like, if you don't wanna be part of a union, don't be part of a union, right? I think it should be to the point that even if I work for a union company, if I choose not to be in the union, I should be able to still work there and choose not to be part of the union.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
and
isn't it
so
kind of a racket?
I agree. I'm not union, I've never been union ever, I've never looked into the union aspect, so I can't speak to it as though it's gospel by any stretch. It's just something that I've heard, and so I don't know if the person didn't understand. Maybe there was something else with that, because I agree with you, I feel like it's kind of like, it's very short-sighted, you know? So it's like, like, you're not gonna release me?
Well, let's be honest, unions make money off the backs of the people who are working, right? It's kind of a it's that little tender fish, on the shark that's doing all the cleaning, doing all that type of stuff, and you hope it's there to take care of you, but I've heard some real horror stories where it's not, but I've also heard some good ones where it is. So, I mean, that's unions were kind of around, to the best of my knowledge, were around before really we had, like, the ESA, so the Employment Standards Act, and all this other type of rule books that kinda kept employers in check. Whereas I don't really think there's much of a use for it anymore. Like, I would hate for somebody else to bargain what I'm gonna get paid for based on my seniority, not my skill set.
Okay, here, maybe this is where I fucked up, 'cause I'm sorry, Michael. My brain went, and I was like, I need to fact check this, 'cause this is what I
No
do.
worries.
So, yes, you
I heard
can
the
leave
cookies.
you can leave a union. So I looked up welding. So it's like you can leave a union. So I don't know if this falls under all unions, because this is just the welding aspect, but it says, "But you cannot simply stop paying dues while working in a union shop. You must either resign membership during specific open periods, or if you wish to remain in the trade, apply for a withdrawal card to avoid heavy penalties." So there's red tape.
That's stupid. So, it's not just, "I quit you," like, click of a button, "I unfriend you." Right? Like,
Yeah.
that's how easy it
No,
should.
there's a
We have
rigmarole.
technology now, right? Like, I don't understand.
There's a rigmarole. So when they said it to me, that's how they were perceiving it, because that's basically, in a nutshell, like, you can't just leave the union. So there's a rigmarole.
That's dumb.
You have to leave during the open.
What the hell does that even mean?
Listen, in
I feel like it's
January,
like a
we'll
made up
accept your
language.
resignation.
Yeah, you're like, "Okay, so I'm just stuck working here when I have another job that I wanna go to. I have to fill out all this paper." Like, just be like, "No, I just wanna leave." Right? And
Right?
if I haven't collected my retirement, give me that money back, right? I mean, you should have it. I gave it to you, so you should have it. Give me that money back, and I'm gonna go do something else with it.
I mean, unions protect the compensation. That I will say. So when you're working in
Unions
private,
fight for more money because they
yeah,
fight for more money because they make percentages off the money. Makes sense. They want you to make more money so they can make more money. That's how they get paid. It's just, I don't know. I hate the process, but again, I understand there's pros and cons for different industries. Especially in the corporate sector, I think unions are really, really good because corporations do have a tendency to take advantage. But
that's fair.
I couldn't imagine being a smaller shop, right, where you're like 5 or 10 or 20 people, and they're like, "Oh, we're bringing in a union," and you're like, I mean, I'd close my doors. I'd just be like, "Okay, this company's closed. It's closed."
But there's two different types of unions, right? There's the unions that you get when you're working. So like we'll take a company like WestJet. WestJet was more recently unionized.
Okay,
Okay. So I don't know exactly when, but it wasn't like they haven't been unionized the whole time. So they were more recently unionized, and then so that's where you're kinda talking, but when we talk about trades, they have their own unions outside of where they work, which then stipulates to the owners what they should be making based on what their union is telling them. They're part of our union, they are worth X amount of dollars an hour, you can't pay them any less, otherwise, we as a union will come after you, doesn't matter where you are in the company. The company doesn't have to be unionized.
that's dumb.
No, you didn't know that in trades?
Nope, not in
Oh,
any of the
wow.
trades I've been in.
Yeah, like a welding so, like, welders, plumbers, I
I was
think,
working in a plumbing shop. There was no
carpenters,
plumbing.
like,
No, I
they're
was a
part of an
carpenter.
actual, like,
No,
provincial union.
no, not here, not in Ontario.
We're
Is
so
this just an
complicated
Alberta
out here
thing?
now.
Is this just an Alberta thing? Like I've never.
I guess so. I
Mm.
guess so.
I mean,
Because I
there
mean,
are union rates, but nobody's obligated to pay you based on what unions say for the company. I don't pay union dues. I've never paid union dues. I never would pay union dues. I can be responsible for my own money. If I want to figure out retirement, I can negotiate my own pay and figure out my own retirement. I don't need somebody to handle that.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what I know, what I've
I've
heard, what
never
I've
heard of that.
read. I'm just all that's it.
Never heard
But
of that. No.
well, private sectors are hard because then you've got somebody who okay, so let me paint you a picture and you tell me what you think because this is always something that I come into contact with regularly when I'm on site. There's a guy who's been working in trades. We're going to go between 15 and 20 years, been inside of the trade space. Okay. A true jack of all trades. When I say that, I'll say it lightly, like they are, but they're not. So they're like, they can do many different things. Okay. From carpentry, framing carpentry to finishing carpentry to light electrical to light plumbing to um, like all like roofing, like they can pretty much do just about anything that you tell them to do. They'll figure it out and get it done. And there are guys that like this that exist, especially the ones that are in now their 40s and mid 40s, 50s. Okay.
Oh
There's a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of guys like that.
Yep.
So you meet these guys and they're doing all the things, but they're missing one of two things, either the title or the compensation. And they're expected to continuously take on tasks from other people or other trades or fix things from other trades or other people that goes unnoticed. And this is something I've come across with not only my significant, but many other guys inside of the trade where they're kind of, I call them the mushrooms. And I'm like, stop making yourself the mushroom. You're supposed to be the flower. Why are you making yourself a mushroom? You know what I mean when I say mushroom, right?
Shit in the
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah. Put in the dark and kick shit on. So stop doing it. So this is where I tell like this is like my last podcast that I did on my own was where I said you can take on any task your owner asks you because there's always that disclaimer of tasks as required. And there's no reason that you can't do it, but where your sweet spot is 2 weeks. 2 weeks under HR protocols will talk to you that you have now accepted the task as something you will do consistently. You've now accepted it. It's like an acceptance. Okay. So it's your 2 week sweet spot, which means that if you're doing a task and you know it's going to take longer than 2 weeks, then you need to make sure you put an email out, not ask them for written anything. You put the email out saying, please be advised that you've asked me to conduct this task. I'm happy to do it. It's going to take more than a 2 week period. Please know that this will be the only time that I will be taking on a task like this, as it is outside of my scope of work. And because there's scope creep inside of that, right? It is outside my general duties and outside of my scope of work, which therefore, if you'd like me to continue to do these tasks, I will need to be compensated accordingly moving forward. Or it's, or I just won't do them kind of thing, right? So they need to send the email to their owners basically saying, sure, this is a one off. Don't continue to ask me to do it. And a lot of guys don't do that. And I'm like, start protecting yourselves. Take pictures. You and I talked about this. Take pictures. Show that you're doing your work. Don't let people take credit for where you are doing stuff. Because a lot of guys will do that. A lot of the guys that like to be on the tools and are smart and are good at their craft, whether they're a master of one or a jack of all trades, doesn't matter. If they can master what they're doing and somebody takes credit, it is the most demeaning thing to a person. Like,
Assuming you
why?
even know what happens, right?
Most of the time they know because they don't get told anything other than until someone will come to site or they'll see an email or they'll see something and it'll be like, oh, so and so's team did a great job, great on him, blah, blah, blah. Like, I've had that happen to me where people will be like, oh, Lisa, you did an awesome job. And I'm like, oh, my team did an awesome job. I'm like, I said, I might be the face, but if I couldn't have done this without my team and they couldn't have done it without me helping them organize and making sure everything stayed kosher. We all have our part to play, but at the end of the day, my team did this. Please thank my team. Like, because to me, I think it's gross to take credit where it doesn't belong.
Yeah, of course.
But that's me. There's a lot of people that are happy to take credit. Fucking
I don't,
assholes.
I don't think I do. I've never done the email thing. I've always just treated my job like its own business inside of a business, right?
Okay.
Which means do your own reports, right? So again, the photo taking, do your own reports, document everything, and have in place so you get 6 months reviews, like semi-annually, you get a review. Why, if I'm doing more in 6 months than I was doing 6 months ago, why am I not getting a raise now? Why am I waiting for once a year? Right? Say I decide, okay, perfect. I've taken this on for the last 6 months. I've been doing X, Y, Z, and I don't really care. If something becomes part of my task, listen, we should all be a team at work anyways. If that's what it takes, and I'm the best person to do it, and you still pay me my wage, you can't be like, oh well, now I have more responsibilities in trades, right? Like I have more what's more responsibilities? You have X amount of hours to do construction. What's more responsibilities? If you're 8 hours of do construction, you're still 8 hours of do construction. So unless they've added more time and your salary, you should just get paid for the more time. I don't understand.
Okay, so let me explain it to you. So what happens is they put another task onto your list, but that now you have to prioritize what
Okay.
is going to take precedence inside of your task roles that you already have. And now there's a new task. So then when something falls to the wayside, because it normally does, then all of a sudden you're getting yelled at for why that fell to the wayside. Meanwhile, they placed another item onto you. Not only that, but what you're doing is you're showing people will say, oh, I'm showing that I'm valuable, that I'm an asset. You're also showing that they can walk all over you and that they don't have to compensate you and they can get you to do all the extra fucking shit without hiring anybody else to do it. So
Well, I
that's
see.
what you're doing.
I just
Yeah.
go, listen, in 6 months, if I don't get a raise and I don't get the raise of the compensation for the work that I'm doing, I'll quit. Just
Yeah.
quit. Go get another
Yeah.
job. Have one lined up. Always be looking for another job. Always never stop looking for another job because if you're good at what you do, somebody else will pay you more. There's always somebody who will pay you more. This
I think
loyalty
but
stuff to companies that you're red line or your black line on the balance sheet. That's it. That's all you are as an employee. If you think you're anything different, probably not.
this is where you and I are different, Michael. We have different mindsets where we're all about, you don't like it? We'll just jump. Like, that's how kind of like whether we have a job lined up or not, we're people who will just jump. Like, we'll have our feelers out, we'll be looking around, we'll may have had conversations. We might not have anything secured, but we're both people that will be like, I'm out. And
Never
it's
take down your
because
resume. Never take
what's
down your resume.
yeah,
Never. Always leave it up.
yeah. So, and I don't disagree with that. Like, I have a girlfriend of mine, and she did the smartest thing on LinkedIn. She has it on her LinkedIn, even though she's working somewhere. On her LinkedIn, it says, excuse me, always looking for fun and adventurous opportunities. So she always gets hits. Are you looking for work currently? Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, you don't know what their current situation is. So if they have that tagline out that's like, hey, always looking for adventure and new opportunities in career, right? Career opportunities. So she has career opportunities. And I'm like, in my brain, I'm sitting there thinking, like, wouldn't the owner be like, what the fuck are you doing? But then they can't because it's your social media. They can say something, but they can't do anything about it.
But listen, it's just fact checking. It's no different than, going to a doctor to get a second opinion, right? If you like what you do, if you really like what you do, nothing to say where you're working at now is
Mhm.
the best place to do it, right? So if you get offers, go take a look at the offers. Ask them to send an offer letter over. Go take interviews while you still
Yeah.
have a job.
I
Again,
mean,
there's no loyalty, because if you screw up, you could be fired. You could be gone.
mhm. Yeah.
If you don't make enough money, you could be gone. If they find somebody better, you could be gone. Treat it the same way. There doesn't
It's
have to
fair.
be this loyalty stuff. This loyalty stuff is silly, and that's where people get stuck on pay.
I also think that it's not just a matter of loyalty to the owner as much as it's loyalty to themselves to have some sort of stability in pay,
Yeah.
right?
So
And then
sign
what
contracts.
happens is that they're I mean, I hate to say it, but trades are the worst for exploiting. They exploit their workers. They really do. Not all of them, but fuck, so
The
many of them
vast
just
majority, I would
exploit
say.
their workers. They're
Yep.
like, "How much can I get out of this fucking dog and pony show? Like, where's my Clydesdale here?"
Right.
And then the Clydesdale is fucking doing all the work and they're like getting like 85, 90K a year while, fucking there's like 6 people around them that are making either 10 grand more, 5 grand more, 40 grand more that are not even near the capacity of work output.
Yep. Yep.
Ridiculous. But
So
that's what I'm
take
saying. They
take your
totally
take
they
your
optimize on
documentation.
those guys.
Take your document taken and take your photos from work. Put it on your social media with your resume.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right? Because listen, if they're not taking it into the office and somebody else is taking credit for your work, put it on social media. Look, this is what I did. Take videos of yourself. Do whatever. Advertise yourself. You are your best commodity.
Mhm.
You're your best
Yeah.
asset. And if you put yourself out there like that, I guarantee you'll probably make more money within the year, because people are always looking. Because it's hard to
Mhm.
find good people in construction. Really hard. Probably one in a
Yeah.
hundred.
Start getting people to get those GoPros.
Right? Well, because then it's really, that's your interview, right? What do I
Yeah.
need to interview somebody? If I can go to get their see their resume, I go to their LinkedIn and their social media is them doing the job,
Mhm.
I can make a decision, hired, not hired, right then and there on the spot.
Right?
And you
Agreed.
can say on your LinkedIn, I am looking for a job in this area at this wage, this many hours. Set all your requirements right on your LinkedIn and leave it, and never take it down. Don't care if you get a job and you tell, I get that job, I still leave it up, and I'm just going to
That's
change the
true.
wage bar.
Mm. It's a good point. Because, and I mean, like, I've made the comments to them all the time. Take pictures, do this, do that. You do your reporting, and they all just they get in their heads and they're like, I don't have time. I'm not good at paperwork. I'm like, I don't care if you're not good at paperwork. Be good at paperwork. I'm
Right.
like, voice notes, voice
Yeah.
notes.
There's always a tool for something. But
Yeah.
imagine,
And
instead
now,
of negotiating with your boss, you're
yeah,
negotiating with the industry.
yeah, that's a good point.
Wouldn't that be better?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even
What
think of
I
that. See, Michael, you have purpose.
That's what I did. I never negotiated. I said, listen, so when I went in for 6 months reviews, I came in with offer letters. These are 5 offer letters I have from other companies at this wage, this wage, this wage, this wage. These are the perks. These are the benefits. These are the, taxable benefits, blah, blah, blah. This is the vehicle they're offering. This is the tool allowance, everything. Match it or beat it, or I'm gone.
Yep. But you know what though? It's kind of fun. Like in my brain, I'm like, absolutely, you need to be protecting yourself. But then there's the part of me that like I hear it in my brain where I'm going, you're just playing companies against each other. And it's
Yes,
kind of gross, but it's kind of necessary at the same time. Cause I know that when I would go to buy a new vehicle, I would play dealerships against each other.
of course.
100%.
Of course.
So I can't even be like, I'm not that asshole. I'm totally that asshole.
And
Totally that asshole.
you sign a contract at work that you have an NDA that you will not disclose what you make to anybody else. So sign that NDA, because then they can pay you whatever. Because what they're worried about is if they pay you, say, $250,000 a year, and the same person doing the same job is making 120, but you
Mhm.
negotiated better, you showed it better, you did your job better, maybe, right? You have every right to make more than somebody else. I don't
I
care if you're
agree. I
man,
talked
woman, anything, doesn't matter.
So funny. I talked about that as well. And I was like, if you guys want to share your wages, but make sure you get the background on why that person is making what they're, because it's not illegal to talk about your wage. I'm like, there's 2 reasons why you don't talk about your wage. One, you're going to create like a morale issue inside of your own workplace if you're making more money than, say, someone else. Now, if it is warranted, Do you really want to be the person that has to explain yourself why you're a better worker or you have more experience? But if it's not warranted, now do you want to explain that you make more money because you know somebody in the company or you're related to somebody in the company? Now it's you're going to get yourself in hot water.
Or you just negotiate it better. You don't necessarily have to be better at the job.
But
You
that's
don't
what
have
I'm
to know
saying.
somebody.
But
You can just negotiate better because maybe they just don't want to let you go. Say there's 5 people in the company who all do the same thing and they all do it at the same level. They could still be 5 different pay levels because somebody says, "Hey, I'm going to leave if you don't pay me this." And they're like, "Well, I can't do without it." So I don't know. I've never cared about what somebody else makes around me. I don't believe in equitable pay. I don't think because you do the same job, you should automatically get the same pay. I think you should negotiate. There
I
should be a
get
basic
pissy.
minimum and that's it.
Fair. I get pissy. I don't care what anyone makes unless they are coming to me as a consultant. Like, so they're coming to me at like me being the consultant and saying, Lisa, here's all the things I do. Here's what my title is at work. And this is what I'm finding that I'm taking on. There's scope creep inside of my role because other people aren't carrying their weight. And if the job is going to get done, then I have to do this. And the first thing I say is, you have to do nothing. Are you being asked to do it? And they're like, no, but I'm like, okay, so you're high efficiency. Because if they slack, then it trickles down to you and then it looks bad on you. So you are compensating them, correct? And they're like, I guess. And I'm like, stop. You have to find somewhere where you can stop. So when someone says, why is this happening on your site? Why is this happening in your area? You can say, because this person isn't providing X, Y, and Z.
See, I would do
I
the
can't.
opposite. I would do it and I'd make sure everybody knew that I did it. And
But
it'd be
that's the
like,
problem.
gotta
That's the
treat it like
problem.
business,
Everybody does it, Michael, but they don't make it fucking super known that they're the one doing it. That's the
right?
problem.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta announce it. You gotta announce it. You gotta go 2 hours above because listen, if I'm ever below somebody in a company, I'm gunning for their position or above their position. Do you think I don't want to just stay in one position? Now, if you want to stay in one position, fine, do it, don't do it, whatever, right? But if you want to grow, take their work.
Hmm.
Take their work and take their position. Because again, everybody's just on the balance sheet. Are they red or are they black on the balance sheet?
Sorry, I hear a weird noise.
Got
I do.
bats in the belfry?
I don't know. It's a weird noise.
Maybe you got a squirrel in the roof.
Fucking weird. I don't know. I'll have to go check it out later.
Spacing.
If everything falls apart, Michael, it was great talking to you.
We had a good run.
I gotta go inspect this fucking noise. I don't know what the hell's happening. All right. We're past our 25 anyways. We're at 27, so we kind of did okay.
Yeah,
We
not
did
bad.
better than last time. Last time was
Not
like
bad.
40 fucking minutes.
45 or something. I think I managed to trim it down to like 38 minutes because I took out
I
all
think
the
you
ums and
did.
ahs. Yeah.
Yeah. For when I'm like, we don't edit, Michael's like, listen, I edited out all the ums, okay?
Yeah. I took out all the ums and ahs. So it's I mean, it chopped out like 6 minutes. Apparently we have dry air. When do we ever, it doesn't feel like we have dry air, but I guess
Sometimes we need to breathe in between conversation, Michael, you know?
it's true.
Jesus
It's true.
Christ.
For those who don't know, typically once the podcast is done recording, we're still talking for like another half an hour to an hour,
It's not wrong.
unless we have
It's
somewhere to
accurate.
go.
We have things to catch up on. I
That's
mean,
right. That's right.
Michael's the guy that does everything. Like he does websites, he talks trades, he does like what else do you do, Michael? You do music. Oh my God, Michael has
Music,
cool music.
marketing, writing, copywriting, emails, app development, CRM.
And you do a lot
Sometimes
of it
just
for me. I've brought like
yeah,
other people to you as well that
yep,
you're doing stuff for. Hey, you're
yep.
amazing. You
Yeah,
did my
just met
website. So
another.
for all of you that go to my website, if you think it's shit, just like send me an email so I
Yeah,
can tell them.
tell me what you want changed.
But yeah, so I mean, you do a lot of amazing stuff. But yes, it's always fun to catch up with you. And we need to catch up because I just heard a new song you dropped. And so I want to talk to you about that. So we will talk about that. So
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
yeah, it's a good
yeah,
one. So,
I like
okay.
it.
Do you want to tell everybody what it is? You can tell.
It's One Bird, One Sky. I think that's the one you're
I
talking
loved it.
about. Yeah.
So
So
we
it's
talked
basically
about that
yeah.
months ago.
Yeah,
Michael and I had this.
I did make it months ago. I just decided to release it on TikTok. It was on my YouTube, but I'm like, you know what? I should throw this out on my TikTok because there's so much division out there, and this is just like, listen, you're divided on purpose.
Yeah.
So just stop it.
Percent. But it was when things were going really sour. And I remember you and I had this conversation, and you gave the bird analogy to me like I don't even know, like months ago, like
Yep.
6 months ago,
Yep.
like months ago. So
Left
when I heard the
left
song,
wing,
I was like,
right wing, one bird. One bird.
yes,
You need the left, you need the right. You can't eliminate either one,
no.
right?
But there's a lot
Now
of
we
people
could
that sit
probably
close to
trim
the
the
wing.
wings.
Or
We
sorry,
could
there's a lot
probably
of people
trim
that
the
sit close
wings.
to the body.
Yeah. We could trim the wings though. I think we could trim about 1 to 5% off each side.
Yeah,
Yeah, just a little
right?
clipping. Yeah.
Nah. Anyways, you guys should go check that song out. You can find it on TikTok, YouTube,
TikTok.
where else?
Uh,
Insta?
no, I don't do Instagram. No. No,
Okay,
Instagram
so
is just
TikTok.
just
Go to
just business.
TikTok. You can find it on TikTok, and it is royalty-free music.
Yeah, you can literally go to any Google or Alexa and say, "Show me music by Dynamic AI Hub," and it will find all my music.
There you go. There you go. And then you can listen to it. But he's got some really cool music. I'm actually super impressed. And then he told me it was his voice, and I was like, you lie.
Not all of it. Not all of it. I'd say about 60%.
Yeah. So I was impressed. Look at you, you talented guy, you.
I used to be able to sing better in high school because I did opera and jazz, but smoking, drinking, yelling, screaming, being partially deaf, it's not the same.
I mean, shit happens.
That's it. Life, life.
Mm,
I lived a life.
you did. It's
I
a
did.
fun life so
Yeah.
far. It's still
Yeah.
fun. Still doing things. Okay, we'll wrap up. Thank you everybody for being a part of our Hard Hats, Hard Truth segment this time. You guys will catch us next week. Same bat time, same bat station.
Oh,
So right.
Adam West, Adam West.
So we'll catch you guys on the flip side.